Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Erica, and in today's video, I'm just going to be doing a little get ready with me, putting some makeup on my face and chatting with you guys. I meant to do this video last week and I woke up too late, but today I woke up in time to actually do this. Hooray! Now I do have a new eyeshadow palette in my collection. It's not new out on the market, but it's new to me. And it is this beauty right here. This is the Colourpop Star Wars Mandalorian The Child palette. This is so cute. And my husband and I have watched this whole show. Really, really cool. I really dig it. We're big Star Wars geeky nerds over here, and I love that about us. But this is such a beautiful color story. And my dear friend and subscriber, Tiramisu, sent this to me. And this shade did kind of get smashed up a little bit in transit, which, you know, that just happens sometimes with Colourpop palettes. I've had 3 other Colourpop palettes that have come to me with at least one shade smashed inside. None of my other palettes have ever done that. So I don't know if they play like soccer with these palettes in their warehouse before they ship them out. But I did press that back in and it's fine. It looks fine. I don't know that I'm going to use that shade today. We shall see. But really, really happy that Tiramisu sent this to me. I'm so excited to use this today. And my goal initially was to do a battle of the palettes between this one and the Sage the Day palette from Colourpop. And then I ended up gifting the Sage the Day palette to one of my friends. Kind of forgot that I had that plan. And I talked with Tiramisu about it like 15,000 times and then I forgot anyway. But I'm okay with that because I really did not love the Sage the Day palette. And I'm really hoping that I will love this one. Really am. And then I just have some other odds and ends I'm going to be putting on my face today. I just wanted to do like a really relaxing, chill, chatty, get ready with me. So if you guys are ready to watch my look come together, then please sit back, relax, and let's get started. So my brows are done and this eyelid is primed in the P. Louise eyeshadow base in Rumor 01, as it always is. I think I start every single one of my like get ready with me or makeup videos saying that. Let me show you what brow pencil I used. This is my favorite brow pencil I have ever used. This is the IT Cosmetics Brow Power Brow Pencil in Taupe. And my dear friend that lives in the UK, Allie, she sent this to me and I just love it. And it's about halfway gone. So once this is all the way gone, I will definitely be repurchasing this. Maybe I'll do that before it's all the way gone so I just can go right to the next one. I think I'll just do one eye on camera today just to kind of save time so that this gets ready with me is not 3 hours long. But this palette, I cannot wait to get into it. Oh, so excited. So happy that Tiramisu sent this to me. This color story is just my fave, you know? The earthy, grungy greens and browns. Yes, and I know that I've done other earthy, grungy, green and brown looks on my channel, but you know what? I got to use this today. I just do. And I think what I'll do is start off with this shade right here and put that in my transition area. This is called Little Frog, and it's that sequin matte shade, you know, that has the sparklies in it that don't really stick around on your lid. And I'm going to, like I said, put that in my transition area. Did I ever say that? I think so. Okay. And I really don't know why I didn't get this palette when it was first released. When I saw it on the website or, you know, people using it on their channels, I was like, oh, that's amazing. Amazing. I just do that sometimes. You know, I've already shared that weirdness that I have. I'll see a palette and I'll think, yeah, it's really pretty, but no, I'm not going to get it. And then it's gone and I'm like almost in a panic that I didn't get it or really upset with myself that I didn't get it. Stupid. So thrilled to be using this today. Thrilled that Tiramisu sent it to me. Hooray. And this is a very lovely shade. Yes, love it. And I did feel like kind of a ding-dong that I gifted the Sage the Day palette to a friend before I did the Battle of the Palettes. I have yet to do a Battle of the Palettes on my channel. I've been wanting to do that for a very long time. I promise I will do that at some point. I already have like the palettes that I want to battle with each other already picked out. I just have not done it yet. My true crime videos come up the first Sunday of the month, and I think in April it may be coming the second Sunday of the month because I have a lot of stuff going on in my life. There's a lot of stuff going on at work and, you know, just stuff going on. And I'm reading a book about the next case and I'm about, I don't know, halfway through the book. It's not a very long book. And I just don't know that I'm going to be able to get through the whole thing and get my notes all put together and stuff before this weekend. I don't think I will be able to. Time just kind of slips away from me. So now what I want to do, of course, is deepen up the outer corner. And I think what I'll do is go into the shade here. And this one is called Droid, what's it called? Droid Protocol. Ooh, very cool. And let me grab a brush for that. I love using my Eco Tools brush for this kind of work, you know, my outer V into my crease. Love it. Do you guys ever just kind of feel like you're being pulled in 9,000 different directions in your life? That's kind of what I'm feeling right now. I just kind of feel like, you know, I just kind of want to slow things down a little bit. Just not have so much on my plate. I get a little bit like kind of panicky when that kind of starts to happen. Just, I have a lot of different roles in my life, and sometimes it can be tricky to maintain all of those roles. I can remember several years ago when I was in therapy, talking to my therapist about this. So, you know, this has been a theme in my life for a while. And she said that really we're all professional plate spinners. And how she described it is that we all have these invisible tool belts around our waists and these invisible sticks sticking out of the tool belt. And on the end of every invisible stick is an invisible plate. And each plate corresponds to each role that you have in your life, you know. And that our job is to keep those plates spinning at equal speeds all the time. And that it's virtually impossible to do that. And that, you know, you might see a plate start to slow down, so you have to go back and spin it again, or one plate is just spinning out of control, so you got to go slow it down. And I thought that was such a cool analogy. So I always try to, like, I don't know, envision myself spinning plates and kind of looking at the plates and thinking, okay, which ones slowed down, which ones sped up, and then try to get them back to, you know, homeostasis, which can be very hard to do. And I think the thing that I love the most, I mean, I love a lot of things about makeup, but I think one of the things I love the most about makeup is the fact that when I'm feeling that, like, pulling me in 4,000 different directions, let me grab my other brush. Where'd it go? Oh, right here. And I'm gonna go back into Little Frog and just kind of blend that out a little bit more. I've noticed that when I start getting that just kind of like anxiety feeling or panicky feeling about my life and just all the different things that are going on, that if I sit down and do my makeup, I feel so much better. It's just a really great way for me to, like, kind of take a deep breath, relax, and do something just for me. I do struggle with that, doing things just for myself, because I want to be available to everyone else that's in my life. The job that I have, I am at other people's disposal all day from the time I get there until I go home. And I do work 5 days a week. And I love my job. I mean, you know, there's things about it that are stressful and hard, but in any job, I would say that would be the case. But I really do enjoy my tasks at my job. I really do. But I would say that I spend more time, I think most of us that work a full-time job spend more time at work than we do at home, at least our waking hours. You know, I'm not really counting the hours that we're asleep. And so there are times when I just feel like I'm starting to kind of run on empty. So now for the shimmers. I do think that's gorgeous, and I'm not really worried about it being broken because I'm sure I could make it work, but I'm really honing in on these two shimmers. That one I think I'm going to put in my inner corner, but these two I just think are so pretty. This one is called Spring Soup. Is that right? Let's see. Sipping Soup. Hi. And then this one is called, geez, Right Hand Mando. Okay, cool. It's kind of sad that I have to look at the back of the palette, but whatever. So let's go to this one first. That's called Sipping Soup, not Spring Soup, and put that towards the outer part of the lid. And I am going to use one of my little Temu brushes. I love this brush for putting on shimmers. It's really nice. My dad is also experiencing some health issues and has been for, gosh, going on 2 years now. And I always want to be very kind of, you know, plugged into him and what's going on in his life, of course. I call him every day after work when I'm on my way home, just to kind of check in with him. And then, you know, we text each other in the morning, and on the weekends, I try to spend time with him and also, you know, communicate with him as much as I possibly can, just to make sure he's doing okay. And then, of course, I have 2 adult children that I'm very close with and love very, very much. And we talk often. I talk more with my daughter than I do my son. I mean, he's living his best life. He's 21. He's going to college. He doesn't live at home. He doesn't need to talk to mommy all the time. But, I do want to talk to him as much as I possibly can because I don't really see him that often anymore. My daughter has her son, and so we talk all the time, all the time. She's constantly sending me pictures of him and videos of him when I'm at work, during the week. And on the weekends, my goal is to spend as much time with him as I possibly can. I mean, he definitely is who I really want to spend my time with because I just adore him so much. And I really do want to have a very close relationship with my grandkids. He's the first, and it's just an amazing bond that I have with him. And it's just a really important relationship that I always want to have be, my top priority, at least one of my top priorities, of course. I'm married and my husband is my absolute best friend, and we love to spend time together, and we both work full time. And so we have about, 2.5 hours in the evening to spend together. And then on the weekends, we try to, hang out and do fun stuff together. Sometimes it's just laying on the couch watching movies because we're both exhausted. And I really wish that wasn't the case. You know what I mean? I wish we had tons of energy to go do all kinds of stuff on the weekends. And we talk about that all the time, that we really wish that we could do that. But we're both tired. And I have been just consumed with exhaustion for a long time now. More so since I had my hysterectomy, and that shimmer's going like way up there. Weird. I might have to go back with my mat and just kind of calm that down a little bit. Yeah, let's do that right now because I'm like, what's going on? Why are we going clear up to my eyebrow? Let's go back into Droid protocol. Yeah, geez. Just gonna put a little bit of that back on there just to kind of cut that shimmer down just a little bit. I don't know. I have such hooded eyes that this is just kind of what happens. But I didn't really want it up that far. Okay, cool. Now what I'll do is just kind of clean this off a little bit, this brush. And I'm going to go into this one right here, which is right hand Mando, and put that towards the front part of the lid. So I don't know. I think I might need to go back to the doctor and see if maybe, I don't know, there's something she can help me with so I'm not so freaking tired. But most nights when I get home from work, my husband and I will have dinner, and I'm falling asleep on the couch by like 6:30. And I don't like that. I don't want to be that tired all the time. But I do think as you age, I do think that is kind of an issue, that you get more tired. I mean, I think about the energy that I had even like 10 years ago, and it's like drastically reduced. I do need to start working out again. I know that would really help me. And, I know that might sound strange because working out does tire you, but in a way it like rejuvenates you too. So I don't know. I need to do that again. And of course, I have some amazing friendships in my life. I have a really awesome group of friends that I'm so blessed and lucky to have, because that hasn't always been the case for me. I haven't always had the greatest of friends. And I've already talked about that in other videos, so I don't need to really go into all that again. I'm going to go back into this shade here, this Droid Protocol, and just kind of buff that edge off a little bit. And the thing that I can say that's so amazing about my friends that I have is that they're very understanding of the fact that I have all these different roles in my life, just as I am very understanding about that with them too. And that sometimes if I get a message from someone or a phone call or whatever, I don't always have the time in that moment to respond, but I always respond. Just sometimes it takes me a little bit longer than I wish it did. And they're okay with that. I have had friends in my life in the past that I felt kind of out of whack expectations of me as a friend. Like they expected me to drop everything right now, and if I didn't do that, I was this horrible, awful person. And so I would go out of my way to always be available to these people who, they really didn't care about my feelings or what I was dealing with in my life. Especially, I talked about that after my mom passed away. It was just, no, you're going to be here for me, and that's it. And I'm really happy to say that I just don't have those kind of friendships in my life anymore. And that's very important to me. because my family comes first. Like I said, of course, my friends are very important to me. But after losing my mom suddenly, it really made me understand how incredibly important my family is. My dad, my kids, my husband, of course, my grandson, my in-laws, you know, my husband's side of the family. I have a stepdaughter. I mean, it's just so important to have those bonds be very close to your heart. And of course, my friendships are very close to my heart too. Absolutely. So I did go off camera and I did do my other eye. And I really like this eye look, and I love the palette. I knew I was going to love the palette. Tiramisu, thank you so much for sending that to me. So now I do want to put some primer on my face, and this is the Makeup Revolution Mattify Matte and Fix Primer. I've had this for a long time, and I'm going to be using kind of a more dewier foundation. So I really enjoy using this underneath a dewier foundation because it just kind of helps, you know, tone the dew down. And the thing is with me too, is that I do my very best to always be there for my friends, especially like, you know, if somebody's having like an emergency type situation and needs me to like be there for them. Absolutely. I will do everything in my power to make sure that I can devote that kind of time to them because it's very important to me. Just as, you know, I'm very lucky to have those kind of friends in my life. If I'm really struggling with something or having a problem, I can reach out and talk to them too. But I will say there are times when I don't always immediately respond to like a text, or I might tell somebody, hey, I'll try calling you this week, and maybe a week and a half passes, and I just, you know, just because there's other stuff going on, and it's not meant for me to make them feel like I don't care or anything like that. It's just, there's just a lot I have to deal with in a day, just like we all do, you know what I mean? And there's plenty of times where I will reach out to a friend, you know, text or message or call or something, and I don't instantly hear back from them either. Oops, I've got gunk on my face because they're busy. But that's what I said earlier is I love the fact that we all kind of have that understanding with one another, that we all have other obligations and priorities, and that we will get to each other. We will do that. Of course we will. And that it doesn't mean that either one of us is a bad friend or a bad person because we have other things going on. But, you know, you're only one person, and you can only be so many places at once. And I don't want to just half-ass stuff either. You know what I mean? I don't want to be like, yeah, hi, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I really want to like devote the time to really engage with my friends. Now I'm going to go into the Poreless Folklore foundation. Lasting Poreless Foundation from Folklore that I got from Temu. They sent this to me in some PR. I'm loving this foundation, and I think this was, gosh, I should have looked up the price. I think it was what, $6, $5, $6? I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's under $10, and I love it. It's so nice. Perfect shade match for me, and I love the consistency. I have a really close friend. We've been like best friends since we were 17. We went to high school together. And we talk as often as we can. You know, she doesn't live in the same state. She lives in a different time zone. And she's married and has a child and works and stuff. So we don't get to talk as much as we'd like to, but we talk as often as we can. And we were just talking about this, I don't know, maybe last week. It had been, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks, maybe longer than that since we talked, just because there's stuff going on in her life, stuff going on in my life. And we were talking about the concept of giving 110% of yourself to people in your life, you know, and being all in and always being engaged, always just giving everything you can to people, and how difficult that can be. And she said, I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to be totally honest with me. And I'm like, okay. She's like, do you feel like I'm not all in to our friendship because it's been a couple weeks since we talked? I said, no. And she's like, well, I don't feel that way about you either. I hope you know that. And she said, you know, I'm really happy that we both have that kind of like understanding with one another, that there's just going to be times when we just can't connect because we're busy. And that doesn't have any reflection on our friendship or who we are as friends. It just means that we're up to here, and it can be tough. And like I said, neither one of us want to just half-ass it. We want to be able to have time to really talk to each other. And I'm just, like I said, I'm just really grateful that I have friends in my life that are understanding and compassionate and caring. And I try to be the exact same way. I am the exact same way. I don't try. I really feel like I am the exact same way. And just give people that time in their life that they need to devote to other things, and then eventually we'll reconnect again. And one thing too that I used to really struggle with in my life was having a good work-life balance. I worked in the dental field for 16 years. And even though I only worked 4 days a week, typical dental offices, they only work 4 days a week. I still felt like it was so out of balance with my home life because in the last office I worked in, my boss was pretty horrible about texting me and calling me out of work time hours, you know, like in the evenings after I'd gotten home from work or on the weekends. And because I am who I am, and I always worry about what everyone thinks, and, you know, I need to be available to everybody, and I gotta, you know, be engaged, and I gotta do this. I gotta do this for this guy. I would always respond to his texts and his phone calls. And it would drive me nuts because I'm like, I'm home. I don't want to talk about work right now. I'm at home. This is the, let's see, what is this? Yes, the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Concealer in Ivory. I'll put this on right now. And I had a lot of resentment about that because I would just be like, but I would still take his phone calls, you know. Every time he would call or text, I would talk to him. And it was usually never anything positive. It was always negative about the schedule falling apart, or I don't know, collections or insurance or whatever. And it was just always kind of like, oh God, here we go again. And I can remember towards the end of my employment there, my husband saying like, if he can't stop this, I'm going to take the phone from you the next time he calls, and I'm going to say that you're busy. And I'm also going to tell him that he needs to go clock you in, because you shouldn't be having these kind of conversations without getting paid. I mean, that's ridiculous. That ended up not happening. I mean, my husband never did that, but, and it did get better. I would say that it did get better after a while. Let me clean the rest of that foundation off the back of my hand. And I'm just going to take my little sponge and just kind of smooth that out. But it really made me realize when COVID hit and I got laid off, and I was home for, I think, I was laid off for maybe a month, a little over a month. That's when I really realized how out of whack my work-life balance was. And that most nights, we were supposed to be done at like 4:30, and very rarely were we ever done at 4:30. I would be there till, 5:30, sometimes later. And understand, this is not me like whining about how stressful and awful my job was, because I know there are a ton of people out there that have way more stressful jobs than I've ever had in my life, and work way more hours than I have ever worked in my life. So, I'm really not trying to be like, woe is me and poor me. I'm just talking about things that I dealt with and that I wanted to change because I wasn't happy. But back to what I was saying, I just really decided when I went back to work after COVID that like I needed to get out of there, that I was not happy, that I was really tired of the constant not being able to just shut work off. And I really thought, okay, I gotta start looking for something else. And I found a different job. I have a different job now. It is stressful. I just said that earlier, I think. It is stressful at times, and it's not always the easiest. I don't know anybody that doesn't have a job that isn't stressful sometimes. And even though I do work 5 days a week now, I still feel like I have a better work-life balance, because as soon as I'm done with work and I come home, like that's it. I don't get texts from my boss or phone calls from my boss. If I do, it's about something personal, like I have some baby clothes I'd like to give your grandson or something like that. Now I'm going to go into my powder, and this is the L'Oreal Paris Hydro Perfect Loose Setting Powder in Translucent. I've used this a bajillion times on my channel. I love this powder. It smells so good, and I just think it looks really nice on my face. That just became a lot more important to me as I've aged, is just really being able to not be so focused on work all the time. The moral of the story is just that it can be very difficult to take the time that you need for yourself. I think most people I know struggle with that. They're just fulfilling all the different roles that they have in their life, and they don't always take the time that they need to take for themselves. I'm now going to put this in my lower waterline. This is the NYX Professional Makeup Epic Wear Liner Stick in, what is this? All Time Olive. I love this. Just thought this would look nice in my little water lines with my eyeshadow look today. But you know, a lot of my female friends have described to me their sheer exhaustion and their anxiety and their depression around just fulfilling the roles that they have in their lives, and just not being able to kind of like unplug from things and decompress. I also think that social media plays a role in that, you know, because I mean, especially those of us that are creators, you know, and have social media platforms that we're engaged in, you know, like obviously YouTube and Instagram, and even people that aren't creators. I mean, you don't have to be a creator to have an Instagram page or anything like that. But I even think that that can be overwhelming at times and kind of a time suck. I used to have Facebook, and I don't have Facebook anymore. I think I'm going to go into, you know what? I think I'm going to use this shade here on my lower lash line. This is called Float Your Crib. God. Yeah, Float Your Crib. Okay. And put that on my lower lash lines. And this is not me bashing Facebook or bashing anybody that has a Facebook page. I mean, no, not at all, because, you know, I had it for a long time. But what started to happen with me is that I was just obsessed with being on Facebook. I mean, it was just ridiculous. I would spend hours a day on Facebook. And there are times when I will do that with YouTube and Instagram too. But I have gotten a lot better about that because it just started to kind of take over my life. I can remember in 2016 was when I went off Facebook. I think I got on Facebook in 2008. When I was working in the dental field, we would have this dental seminar once a year where there was an oral surgeon here in town that would bring all of the dental offices in town together, and we'd go to the Hilton, this hotel in town, really, really nice, like banquet rooms there. And he would have a motivational speaker come and talk to us. And in 2016, the guy that came was amazing. I mean, you know, a lot of times you're like, oh God, I don't want to go to this seminar. I have to sit there all day and listen to somebody talk. But this particular motivational speaker was so good. And his main focus was talking about balance and basically kind of like encouraging the dentist to remember that the dentist's employees have other things going on in their life. And not to, you know, be so overly demanding of their time and whatnot. And one of the things that he focused on was social media. And he asked us, you know, how many of you guys have Facebook? Raise your hand. Of course, pretty much everybody in the room raised their hand. And he said, how many of you are on it an hour a day? Keep your hand up. 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day. And I think when he got to 6, 7 hours is when I finally put my hand down. And it was so funny because there were people that had their hand up until he said like 10, 11 hours. And I was thinking, you're worse than I am. I don't have that big of a problem. You do. And I thought, Erica, this is a problem for you. And I knew it was a problem because I would get like, you know, I'd look up and look at the time, like at night or whatever. I'd be on my phone, just glued into Facebook. And I'd look up at the time and I'd be like, no way. I really just spent that many hours on Facebook. Oh my kids are like, Mom, hello. I mean, it was just horrible. You know, it really was. And so this guy said to us, let me see if I can find this other brush real quick here. I'm going to go into this shade right here. And this is called Babyface. Let's make sure. Yep, Babyface. And just kind of smoke that out a little bit, or like kind of, I don't know, just take that little harsh edge off there. He said, I challenge you guys, this motivational speaker, I challenge you guys to get off Facebook for one day. And if you can do it for one day, do it for 2. If you can do it for 2, do it for a week and on. And just see how long you can go without being on Facebook. And then if you decide to go back on, I highly recommend you limiting your time that you're on there. However you need to do that, do that. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. And I did do that. I went home that night and I deactivated my Facebook page. And I never reactivated it. It's been almost 7 years. And I don't miss it at all. I don't, because it was just an absolute time suck out of my life. And now what I really try to do is I really try to focus on designating certain times throughout the day to like respond to people's comments, and also to go onto Instagram and like respond to messages and stuff like that. On the weekends, I really do try to at least spend a good 24 hours away from social media, which can be hard because I do feel that pull, and I do want to, like, you know, I want to respond to people's, if somebody comments on my video or whatever, I want to comment back to them immediately. You know, I get kind of like almost panicky if I see a notification. I'm like, oh my God. And then I'm like, okay, but you're right in the middle of doing something else. Honestly, I mean, I will admit it is still a struggle sometimes. Like my daughter, when she was pregnant with my grandson, she was in a car accident. Nothing too crazy or anything. She was getting ready to go through an intersection, and this 18-year-old kid who did not have a license and did not have any insurance flew through a red light and slammed right into the front of her car. I mean, okay, he was going like 30 miles an hour, so it wasn't like he was going 80. She was, what, 6-7 months pregnant. Her tummy banged into the steering wheel. I mean, you know, scary. And so she'd gone to the hospital and she was checked out and everything was fine. I'm not going to be putting on any bronzer today, but I am going to use this blush palette. This is the BH Cosmetics Bellini blush palette. So pretty. And I think what I'll do is go into, what shade? This is always hard for me too. I really love this shade right here called Life's a Peach. I'm going to put that on my cheeks today. Yay. But after I got off work that night, I did go over to her house to, you know, get more details. And this woman who was, I think, was she walking? Got a video of the accident, which was amazing. And then that poor kid that hit her, I mean, I wanted to kill him. I was so pissed off. I was like, how dare you hit my daughter? But, you know, I mean, he felt really bad. And, you know, just screwball kid driving around when he shouldn't have been. Did I say he was driving his friend's car? I mean, can you imagine having that conversation? Yeah, I don't have a license. I don't have insurance, and I just totaled your car. I mean, it totaled the car. So I get to my daughter's house, and we're just sitting on the couch chatting with one another. And she's telling me, obviously, what's happened. And, you know, she was pretty panicked. At this point, she'd calmed down, and, you know, she knew that the baby was fine. I mean, they did an ultrasound and stuff. But my phone was in between us on the couch cushions. And my phone goes, bing! And I look down, and it's a message from one of my friends on Instagram. And you know how, like, well, at least on my phone, you can read like the first few sentences of the message. And it said something about that they had done or they were doing a giveaway, and they noticed I hadn't entered the giveaway yet. And they were hoping that I would come enter the giveaway because she was giving away some things that she thought I would really enjoy. I ended up not winning the giveaway, but yeah, it's okay. And so I was like, in the moment, like, okay, well, I'm just going to go respond to her right now. I'm still listening to what my daughter's saying. No, I'm not. I'm going to go respond to her right now because I didn't want her to think that, like, I wasn't interested or I didn't care. And so I go pick up my phone and I message her back, and my daughter's like, Mother, I'm telling you about a car accident that I was in. Can you wait until we're done to, like, message this person back? Is it that crucial? And I was like, no, it's not that crucial. You're right. That's ridiculous. But that's what happens to me. I feel this, like, pull that I have to instantly respond, or the person's going to be upset with me, or they're going to think I don't care about them, or whatever, you know. And that's just not healthy to feel that way, because, I mean, this person wasn't upset, would not have been upset with me if I waited an hour or two to respond, or the next day, or 2 days later, or whatever. You know, they wouldn't have gotten mad at me about that. It's ridiculous. But that's what happens to me, is I just get, like, panicked. I have to be, you know, at everyone else's disposal. If I'm not, I'm going to look like an a-hole. And it's like, no, you're not. So it's just been a real conscious effort on my part to really try to provide as much balance in my life as I possibly can. And now I do want to put this shade right here in my inner corner. And this is the, what's this called? Precious Cargo. Okay, right on. Is that right? Yes, Precious Cargo. Wow. Makeup has really helped me devote time to myself. And I love that about makeup. And I love that it's just kind of an expression of me, of myself, and that I don't have to worry about anything else for a while I'm doing my makeup. I mean, there are times that I do kind of, you know, will sit here as I'm putting my makeup on, like if I'm not filming, and I'll start kind of, you know, thinking about, okay, what's coming today? And oh, geez. But I try to just, nope, stop that little voice, stop that, and just enjoy putting your makeup on. And it's just something that I do just for me, because most of my life, most of the time of my life, I am doing for other people. And I'm not sitting here like whining and bitching about it. I'm very happy that I have so many awesome people in my life, amazing family members, amazing children, my grandson, my husband, my dad, my stepdaughter. Very happy that I have those connections. And also very happy that I have so many awesome friends. I mean, I'm very lucky. So I don't mean to sound like, I'm just saying that it can be hard. I get so excited about the day that I'm going to retire. And my dad's like, don't be too excited, because he said it can be very boring. I have all these grandiose plans of all the places I want to travel and things I want to do, and like go grab all my grandkids. I mean, depending on how many I end up having, I would love to have 9,000 grandchildren. Okay, that's a little much, a little exaggeration. But I would love, I mean, my husband and I talk about it all the time, like getting like a motorhome and just going and grabbing all those kids and throwing them inside. And let's go to the Grand Canyon, kids, and they'll stay away from the edge. I'm going to use the 3D waterproof precision liquid eyeliner from Yankina that I have. That's my favorite now. Put this on right here. And sometimes I can't talk and do this at the same time, but I just love how this applies. It goes on so beautifully, and it doesn't run or smear or bleed or smudge unless you talk and do it at the same time, then it does. But I really encourage you guys, if you struggle with balance, I just think it's so important to find that thing that you just do for yourself, whether it's makeup or skincare or paint your nails or going for a run or I don't know, whatever, bike ride, working out, cross stitch, crossword puzzles. I'm thinking of all the things I do. There's other things than just what I do, right? Obviously. But I really recommend that you take the time to do it and that you don't stop doing it, that you keep doing it. You know, I think it's wonderful to have relationships in your life with others and do for others. I mean, I have a very service-oriented heart. That's just how I am. And I think that's really important that I do give to those that are in my life. But I also think it's very important that you give back to yourself too. Because if you don't do that, it's just not fun. You end up feeling like just depleted dog poo. It's just, ugh. It's not a fun feeling. And I'm very proud of myself, honestly, that I've been able to kind of, you know, just keep the plate spinning. Also, that I don't have too many plates spinning anymore. You know, that was another thing. I would just overextend myself with different roles and different people and different this and that. And I've had to just really see that I do have limitations, that I'm not perfect, and that I can't always meet everybody's expectations. And that's okay. I did put a quote in my community tab. I like to post, like, I don't know, little quotes in my community tab. Some of you might think, yeah, and it's really annoying, but I don't know, things I'll be thinking about that I just want to share. And one of them is one of my favorite quotes ever, and it's expectations breed premeditated resentments. And amen to that, because I think what happens a lot of times is that, not that you shouldn't have expectations of people. I do think it's okay to have expectations. I mean, I have expectations that people are nice and treat me well and are decent. Yeah. But I also don't have expectations that people are going to just constantly be at my beck and call and just drop everything for me every time I think that they should, because that just doesn't happen. And then I have to also understand, like I've mentioned earlier, that everyone has their own life outside of their relationship with me. And that I can't expect people to just constantly be like, oh, Erica, you know, no. And I can't give that to someone else either. I think all we can do is our best, right? We can all do our best to be as good to each other and as good of human beings as we possibly can, but also to maintain our own self and sanity and homeostasis in that process. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go off camera. I am going to do my mascara, my lipstick, and my hair off camera, and then I'll come back and we'll wrap it up. So the mascara that I use today is the Catchy Eyes mascara from Gosh Cosmetics in black that Pia sent to me. I hadn't used this in a while, and using it today just reaffirmed my whole love affair that I have every time I use this mascara. It's so incredible. Pia, I know I've already thanked you for this, but I will probably thank you another 5,000 times. Love this mascara. And then on my lips, I did use the Kara Beauty Metal Liquid Lipstick in Vintage. This one feels really good in comparison to the Lawless one I used in my last video. I don't know what's going on with the Lawless one, but this one feels great. I love this color. And then I did use the Ofra highlighter. This is the Ofra and Talia highlighter in Soho that I got in an Ipsy, I believe. I love this highlighter. It's one of my faves, kind of like peachy gold. So pretty. And I do know that I rambled quite a lot in this video, kind of all over the place. But my main goal here today was just to talk about balance and how that can be very hard. I think we're all professional plate spinners in all the different roles that we have in our lives. And I just think it's so important that you find something just for you, whether it be makeup, skincare, going for a walk, working out, whatever it is, whatever hobby that you do or interest that you have that's just for you. Continue to do that. Make time for that, because I think we do get pulled in so many different directions. Limit your time on social media. I will say that's good too. Maybe not for everybody, but I know that was something that I really struggled with, and I'm really glad that I've kind of gotten some boundaries around that. And just surround yourself with people that truly love you, that their expectations aren't totally out of whack for you. They understand that you have other roles and other goals and other commitments and priorities in your life, and support you no matter what. You know, I'm so fortunate that I have such a great family, such an awesome family. I just love those people. They are my people. And also very fortunate that I have such a wonderful group of friends that are so caring and so understanding, and that I provide them with the same care and understanding. That's just so awesome. So happy that at almost 50 years old, I finally feel like I found such wonderful family in my friends. And I'd love to know if you guys struggle with balance and how you balance things out, how you keep all your plates spinning. Maybe you've, like, I don't know, reduced the number of plates that you have spinning in your life. You know, maybe you've kind of altered some of your roles, or maybe let go of some things that, you know, maybe just were getting too out of your control, or whatever. Let's talk about that in the comment section. I really think it's interesting to see how people manage their lives and how they maintain balance, and how they also maintain doing things just for themselves to really help themselves be happy and fulfilled. Because I know there's a lot of times where my tank is just empty. And I will sit down and do my makeup, and by the time I'm done, I am full again. I am full and ready to rock and roll. And also, let me know what you think of this look. I love that eyeshadow palette. Let's look at it one more time. So cute. Love the shades that I used. All the mattes worked really well. The shimmers were gorgeous. Thank you so much, Tiramisu, for sending me this palette. Oh, God, I cannot wait to use it again. I'm sorry that I didn't do a battle of the palettes, but you know what? I'm not really that sorry. I'm not sorry at all, actually, because I didn't like that other palette. It was kind of yucky. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your lives to sit down and watch this video. If you're new here and you enjoyed what you saw, please consider subscribing, smash the like button, and yes, please, of course, comment down below in the comment section, because that's my favorite part, is chatting with you guys. And if you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. I cannot wait to see you guys again in my next video, but in the meantime, please take very good care of yourself, be well, safe, happy, find some balance, and I hope to see you very soon. Bye!
Drop it.